I tried every biohack for 10 years. Here's 5 I'd keep and 5 I'd bin after 60. For more than 10 years, I've tried almost every longevity biohack imaginable. Not just once, but for lengthy periods. Oxygen chambers, cryotherapy, fasting, supplements, wearables, bulletproof coffee. I remember being in the newspaper for that one. Biological age testing, the lot. And now, almost 64, I'm going to give you my honest verdict on 5 of them that I would bin and 5 that I'd keep. And some of them might surprise you. So let's start with the bin. The first thing I would bin is random supplement stacks. I've never been a big fan of supplements, although I have taken them over the years. I've even been a shareholder of a supplements company and learned quite a bit about it as a result. But taking 20 pills because somebody on the internet takes them is not a personalized longevity strategy and can do far more harm for you actually than good, especially if you don't know what's going on with your bloods and you can overdose very easily on something. So test your bloods first, identify what it is you need, and then supplement intelligently. Supplements can be really useful when there is a specific need, but they can't compensate for poor food, inadequate exercise, inadequate sleep, and they might even hurt you, as I say. On to the first thing that I would keep, and I'm sorry, it's not glamorous, but it beats every single biohack that I've ever tried. It's transformational, and that is weight training. Not only does it make you look and feel so much better, it protects your muscles, your bones, your metabolism, your mobility. It gives you the physical confidence that you know, if you can lift heavy things and improve your body in the way that you can with weight training, then it makes you feel like you can do everything else. You don't need to begin with enormous weights either. You can start really slowly with body weight, then you can progress to bands, you know, they do have a place. Then you can go to dumbbells and machines and eventually barbells, you know, and keep progressing. The second thing that I'd bin after 60 is fasting any longer than 12 hours. Now, fasting is frequently presented as the answer to longevity. I hear a lot of people talking about it. But if it stops you eating sufficient protein and leaves you without energy to train, causes you to lose muscle, it is eventually going to work against you. You know, I care far more now about preserving muscle than completing an extended fast. And autophagy, which obviously we know is important, that can happen and does happen when you sleep. And it also happens when you're weight training. So it's not necessary to not eat just to get autophagy. A sensible overnight break from eating is one thing, but building your entire longevity strategy around just not eating is crazy. And so I'd bin that. What would I keep instead? Well, the second thing that I would keep is real food and enough protein. And that is the second of my keeps. I build my meals around protein. I talk about it a lot. And on top of that, I then add healthy carbs and fats, all the things you'd expect. You know, after 60, eating less and less isn't necessarily healthier. We need to give our bodies the raw materials to maintain muscle, bones, energy, skin, hair. You know, and if we don't, our arms and legs can start to dwindle to little twigs and our bellies will get bigger as inflammation from sugar rises. You've seen that shape on people as they age, the bellies and the little skinny limbs. Number 3 in the bin is believing that you need expensive recovery treatments to age well. I used hyperbaric oxygen and cryotherapy and red light almost daily for 3 years, and I really enjoyed both, which is why I did it for so long. And I know that it did help me with my recovery from heavy weight training. But would I put them at the center of my longevity routine? Would I recommend them to you? Not really. I mean, they require so much time and money, and the benefits are nowhere near as important as training and eating and sleeping properly. So we have to get those things done first. So if you love them like I did for a while and you know you can afford them and you have the time, then fine. I certainly don't think they do any harm. I think they are definitely giving you the edge. But if I were deciding what is essential, currently I would bin them. What would I keep over every recovery strategy? My third keep, and that is sleep. I know again that these things are boring, but people will spend hundreds of pounds on treatments and then they'll refuse to go to bed an hour earlier. Since I've been getting an extra hour of sleep, I have never felt so energized, and I wouldn't have known that without testing it. My Oura Ring helped me realize that forcing myself up at 5 o'clock wasn't making me healthier. It was actually compromising my recovery. I didn't know that. I'd been getting up 4:30, 5 o'clock for years and feeling, you know, that I had to do it to get everything done. So I decided to trial not doing that and just to get up when I woke up. And it's been incredible. I'm just as productive. I'm hugely energetic. So that ring was very useful. But the real biohack was listening to it. Okay, back to the bin, and number 4 in the bin is obsessing about biological age. Now, I've spoken about biological age assessments and body clocks and age clocks, and I do find them fascinating, and they're great for your ego as well if they tell you that you're much younger than you actually are. But they are estimates, they're not a verdict on how long you're going to live. And what's far more important is what you can actually do with your body, what you can do in terms of your strength, what you can pick up, your energy, your mobility, how fast you can run, blood markers, and how you're actually living your life. And that brings me to my 4th keep. Useful measurements that you can monitor over time and take action on, I think, are an essential biohack. So blood tests and DEXA scans, I would certainly keep because they reveal things that are very specific and they're very actionable. Blood work can help identify any risks, any deficiencies. A DEXA scan can measure your bone density, your body composition, and both are enormously important after 60. And all of these you can take action on, and then you can retest them so you can gradually improve them. If you measure these things, they help you make decisions. So what I would say is don't collect data simply because you can. Only collect data that you're going to action. The 5th and final thing that I would bin is the endless pursuit of cosmetic quick fixes dressed up as longevity. It drives me crazy. I go to a lot of longevity conferences, and it never ceases to amaze me. Well, firstly, how young people are that are there, which is an amazing sign, but certainly no midlife people, let's say that. I hardly see them. I think, where are they all? But secondly, the fact that everybody seems to be clustered around the quick fixes, the supplements, the special lasers, the fat freezing and all of that. These expensive facials, miracle creams, fat freezing, and all these treatments promising to reverse aging without changing lifestyle are, in my opinion, an absolute rip-off. They may temporarily improve how your skin or your body looks, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to look good. Certainly I love to have facials and things, but certainly not a substitute for becoming sustainably healthier on the inside. And then there are the weight loss injections, and a very controversial subject, and obviously it's been proven now that for people with diabetes and clinical obesity, yes, these are genuinely valuable tools when prescribed, and especially if they're working alongside a more healthy lifestyle. But using an injection simply to become smaller while you're losing muscle, you're reducing your bone density and doing nothing about your strength or nutrition is just not my definition of aging well, and it's so unnecessary. After 60, your goal should not simply be to occupy less space to become smaller. Surely it should be to become stronger, healthier, and more capable. And finally, but by no means last, the 5th thing that I would keep costs nothing, and that is training your mind and regulating your nervous system. What you believe about aging absolutely affects how you think, feel, and behave. So if you believe that decline is inevitable, you'll stop feeling enthusiastic and you'll gradually stop challenging yourself. And equally, if you live in constant fight or flight mode, you will never give yourself enough opportunity to properly reset and properly recover. And your body just won't process nutrients properly because it's too busy being in fight or flight mode. So 10 minutes of meditation and journaling every day can really begin to change that. This is about believing that your future is still being built and not simply just being managed, the last part of it. It's about believing that you're maybe only halfway through and that you get to relive the whole half again, if not more, in the way that you want. And that is my honest verdict after more than 10 years of trying these things. So tell me in the comments which you'd keep and which one would you throw away in the bin. I'd love to hear. And if you've enjoyed this content, please like it for me and comment as well. I deliver tips every day on becoming stronger, healthier, and living intelligently after 60. And even if you're not 60 yet, maybe the benefit of my wisdom will help you in your 30s, 40s, 50s. And wherever you are in your longevity journey, go to my playlist because there's loads of other tips there. So thanks for listening, and let's age strong, and I'll see you in the next one.